Hi guys, welcome back to FVSD Life. My name is Brownwin. So for today's video, I'll be telling you guys part 2 of the stomach journey. It's definitely going to be 4 parts now. So if you enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So as I told you guys from last week, I was a very healthy child growing up, but I suffered from severe constipation. And I was very windy as well. Mum would give me prune juice and things, but when it was primary school, I was like, no way, not anymore. And I was very healthy, but yet still I wouldn't go to the toilet properly. And so for this week, we'll be talking about secondary school up until I was about 20. So with secondary school, it was more complicated because, so what happened is, what we noticed, it's so hard to explain. I was on gluten-free. We decided to switch to gluten-free because we noticed when I was on gluten-free, things would shift. You know, I would go to the toilet more, things were a lot easier, but yet with secondary school, it was a lot harder because there was I don't know what it was. I always looked for a gluten-free option when it came to school lunches, but there was nothing. And so, as you can guess, with morning, the routine was morning breakfast was gluten-free. But when it came to me going to school, I would eat loads of gluten. Come home, I'd eat gluten-free again. There were little things that Mum picked up from what I was eating, which she still carried through to this day, which I'll explain what I actually ate on the very last video. So, but anyways, so it was complicated because my body wasn't understanding, but yet when it was like school holidays and stuff, I would be completely gluten-free. I would eat rice cakes, drink lots of water. That's the one thing that I kept doing, that I took from when I was a little girl all the way up to secondary school, is drinking lots and lots of water. That was the most important thing. I always made sure I had my 2 litres of water a day, and I cannot explain to you how much it's changed my life. And so I was drinking 2 litres of water a day, and yeah, I still wouldn't go to the toilet properly. During the school holidays, it's gluten-free, and so, but I started to get stomach pains, and I was still windy. I cannot explain to you the pains that I would get. It was also, my stomach would make the most weird noises. It sounded like it was gurgling. It sounded like my stomach was rumbling, but yeah, I wasn't hungry. It was hurting. And so my friends would actually hear this, like my stomach grumbling, and they're like, "Oh, you're hungry?" And I'm like, "I'm actually not. My stomach just wants to say hello," And it's just, and it's awful. And I was very gassy. But I did still have gluten-free as much as I could. Obviously, when it came to restaurants and cafes and takeaways, this was unavoidable, so I'd eat gluten and other bad things, and it was just, during secondary school, it was rather complicated because I was eating gluten. And then when it came to, also, I did go to the doctors quite a bit about my stomach, but the doctor would say it's just constipation, do more exercise. But I need to explain to you guys, I did do a lot of exercise during school. I had a physiotherapist who actually did my exercises with me. I also did a lot of school trips with base, and so we did that a yearly holiday, which was about a week. We would go to Stoke Mandeville, and this was, if people haven't heard of Stoke Mandeville, it was literally these sort of games, and like you get lots of medals for doing lots of sports and stuff. So it would be like running, javelin, just the proper stuff, you know. And I would also do boccia and stuff. And aside from Stoke Mandeville, I would do other things as well. Obviously I did PE during school, and yet obviously with all this physical activity and drinking lots of water, I would still not go to the toilets. The GP also recommended me using so I was never actually prescribed anything to help me go, but they did give me a lot of advice, like with me going actually drinking prune juice again. And I'm not gonna lie, I did try it once. Oh my god, I almost gagged when I had a swig. It was disgusting. Yeah, but I still drank it because when I say I wouldn't go to the toilets, I would go for a wee, but other stuff it didn't happen. But I wouldn't go for days, and days would turn into weeks. And this was, as you can guess, it was uncomfortable for me. And so, yeah, so I would have to try and drink prune juice. But then Mum actually, as you can guess, she did more research and she discovered pear juice. And pear juice is also like prune juice but less powerful. But it did work, me drinking pear juice, and I prefer pear juice to prune juice by a long mile. And if anyone wanted to buy pear juice, you can buy it from your health food shop, and that's why I would get it, because you can get the proper without sugar in it, so it's pure pear juice, and that really did help as well. And but the thing is, it would help for like a few months, but then I would get backed up again. And so when it came to college, once again it was complicated because I couldn't get gluten-free foods. And with secondary school and college, my friends would eat gluten, and so no one would say to me, "Oh, eat loads of bread and stuff," but I would feel like I was still under some kind of pressure to eat normal food, which was gluten and stuff, so I'd do that. And you know, teenagehood, it was a lot more difficult than when I was a child, because I understood more what was wrong with my body. And so I would say when things got a lot more worse, I would say I was about 20. So one night I physically couldn't sleep because my stomach, I was going to the toilet absolutely fine. I just physically, the pain was blinding. My stomach was making the most horrendous noises. And the pain, I just cannot explain it to you. It's probably the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my life. It was absolutely horrendous. I couldn't even get out of bed. I tried. I couldn't even. It was just awful. I ended up quickly phoning my mum beforehand. But I phoned my mum, who was actually downstairs, and I said to her, "Help me." And so she came running upstairs, and I said to her, "I physically can't move. My stomach is in agony." And I think she felt my head as well as my stomach. And I was like, "Mum, please stop, because it really hurts." And she said I felt a little bit warm, but she thought, so we have a microwavable hot dog, which I use for when it's that time of the month. Mainly, I also, yeah, so with this hot dog that we put in the microwave, Mum wanted me to use it to see if it would actually relax any muscles or anything, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So she warmed it up, she brought it up, and she put it on my stomach, and I just immediately started screaming. And Mum was like, okay. So she quickly whipped it off, and so she was like, okay, no, you know what? No, enough of this. And I think she phoned 999 before she actually took me to hospital. I can't remember, but she phoned some kind of emergency line. I can't remember if 111 was found. But is it 111? Or is it 101? The emergency line, or some kind of emergency line. And they said, well, there was a long wait for an ambulance, and also there wasn't any soonish appointments with out of hour doctors. And so Mum said, okay, fine, I'll just take her to the hospital then. So she took me up to A&E, and I'm going to stop right there, because trust me when I say next week is going to be a lot of stuff happening, and the diagnoses, and so yeah, alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next week for part 3. Bye!